Go.
Hi, welcome to Iterate Investing Podcast. I'm Todd Whalen.
And I'm Mike Ritter.
And today we talk about some superheroes and we get back to the big four.
In case you hear a baby in the background, it is Todd.
It is actually a baby.
So that's the reality of being a personal trainer. Since you don't work every single hour, sometimes you have baby duty during the middle of the day.
And we're going to talk about superheroes.
We have to talk about superheroes. And so let's put some context to this. Superheroes.
Or villains. Don't assume.
Villains too are ideal versions of ourselves, right? It's some people's way to, especially kids, to dream big. I want to become just like this guy. And it's a way for some writers to present certain scenarios about morality and how people would act, and maybe put some sensationalism on top of it. So if you had all of these powers, how would you use them in the conflict that they have? So I started thinking about this the other day.
You did, and you were
I started thinking about it and asked everyone.
Everybody.
I feel like it's my own Myers-Briggs test.
So I started asking people, and then I had a female client, and I was like, I don't know.
You start realizing how few.
Yeah, I was like, okay, besides Wonder Woman and like Catwoman.
Awkward.
I was like,
isn't that bad that we have to use a villain in a superhero's place?
Yeah.
Catwoman, just to fill some gaps.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the two questions were that we asked was, one, if you could be a superhero, which one would you be? And then number two, what superhero are you already most like? And Todd was one of the first people I asked, and you said,
I would want to be like Superman, which I'm probably pretty sure is probably the most common answer, right?
Get a lot of Supermans.
He's an alien, so we want to be aliens.
Yep.
Technically, right? And
you feel like you don't belong.
Yep. And then I said, but the one that I probably most am like in real life is Wolverine. One,
which I thought was dead on.
Because my bones are made of steel.
Bones are made of steel.
Well, I have a really hard head. And you saw me almost break my back, but I didn't somehow.
Somehow, and let me describe the scene that I saw that he's describing. I was training somebody personally, and Todd was over in the other end of the gym doing overhead presses, or was it jerks?
Yeah, no, overhead presses, I believe. I was trying to set
strict
a PR.
presses. And with a strict press, you're not supposed to bend your spine at all. You're supposed to press overhead. Some leaning's okay, but off the corner of my eye, I saw Todd press a weight halfway. And it was almost as if he hit the ceiling with the weights. And instead of the bar going up, he was pushing himself downward. And the bar was not making any progress towards the ceiling.
My knees or hips weren't moving.
And so it was just his spine bending backwards, and all of a sudden his spine coiled back and he threw the weights forward like a bent spring. And did you fall down?
No, I just turned around and looked and was like, whoa.
And all of this happened in a matter of less than a second.
Yeah.
And I had never seen anyone bend that far back under load, and it was a pretty heavy press. Might have been 185 pounds ish.
No, it was going for a PR, so I think it was like 205.
205. It was nuts. So I was scared for your safety. You just laughed it off like Cartman on South Park. And once I realized you were okay, I kind of laughed it off too. And then I think you tried again.
But the look on your face when I turned, I was like, whoa. And you were just like.
It was the way that you coil, like when you pressed it, you bent backwards and then coiled forward and threw it. And so it wasn't like an arm throw. It was like a whole body spine throw. And weights come crashing back down, whipped down to the ground, and you were safe and everything's okay. So, yeah, you totally validated on Wolverine that you probably won't die.
I'm good at, being alone. I don't need a lot of people in my life.
Yeah.
I heal quickly. Don't really get sick often.
And please take this the right way, but we've talked about it. You're stronger than you look. You get that compliment a lot.
Yes.
So, when I say that, I don't mean when I can do a pull-up, people are like, wow, you're stronger than you look. I mean, you look like you can squat maybe 315, 345.
110 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, you look like a strong guy, but you're not. People expect to see a certain amount of muscle mass. Yeah. People expect to see, when you see a power lifter or you have a power lifter in your head, you're thinking it's a guy that weighs, over 300 pounds. you're a relatively athletic looking guy, like you play outside linebacker for somebody for a college or something like that. But then your strength numbers are way higher than that. So big compliment to, but I think Wolverine fits right there. Doesn't look as strong as he actually is. And I picked Superman. So the superhero that I want to be, I always wanted to be Superman. I always looked at Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve is my Superman, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, like some people are like, Trump, not my president. You know, like this Henry Cavill, not my
your
Superman.
Bond?
My Bond?
Sorry for a sidetrack.
You know, it's been a tough decision. I think about that a lot. It's Daniel Craig.
Okay.
And not just because he's new. Pierce Brosnan was I grew up.
I was a Roger Moore. And
Roger
then
Moore.
I think Daniel Craig got it.
I know Roger Moore the least. I don't think I've seen a single Roger Moore. So I'm picking Daniel Craig because I like the change, and I was a Jason Bourne fan. I am first and foremost Jason Bourne, all the way. You know who my James Bond is? It's Matt Damon.
All right. There we go. All right.
If I'm answering honestly. But
Back to the superhero.
When they changed over Daniel Craig, I thought that was a very cool, looked like an actual agent. You know, some of you would picture now. He wasn't like everything just worked out for him. He had it kind of rough. And anyways, a lot of fist fights. So anyway, for superhero, Superman all the way is who I'd want to be.
So
and
who
then
are you most like?
I looked at myself like a Deadpool. And my Deadpool rationale was that I'm a pretty laid-back guy. I listen to rap music. I look like I listen to bluegrass or country, and I actually listen to rap. I have a face that only a mother could love. And I feel like if something bad happens, I put things back together. Like he's self-healing, right? He gets blown up and puts himself back together. And I feel like I've done that over and over throughout my life. So for that reason, and, you know, I border more sense of humor than taking things seriously. So I put that together, but you vetoed me.
I did veto you.
You totally vetoed me.
Mike's not that funny.
I think I'm funny, and that's usually a good sign that you're not funny. And you did your research, and you actually looked this up. Now, we went far. Mind you, this is a full week of us going through this process, and I went through a full Wikipedia page trying to research a superhero that actually identified with me, because let me tell you that this is a deep conversation. I'll tell you why, and something why that I think all of you should think long and hard. Don't give a quick answer. Think about this long and hard. What superhero you're most like and what superhero you want to be, because really it's a conversation about what are your aspirations and goals, how do you see yourself, and then what's your actual skill set. I mean, really, that is a conversation worth having and contemplating. But you vetoed me. What did you come up with?
I did. I came up with Richard Reed, the leader of the Fantastic Four.
Which I have never...
I think he's very stretchy.
Very stretchy. Yeah. Apparently he can do... I never got into Fantastic Four.
Man kind of thing.
What can he do?
He's super, super smart. He's into technology, and he created a spacecraft for them and everything like that. He defeated the Silver Surfer, I think, with his group.
I'm sure he beat somebody. You can't be in a comic without beating somebody.
Well, I don't think he beats him by himself.
Does he fight?
He needs a team. Yeah,
Does he
fights.
do anything?
Yeah. Sometimes he wraps his limbs around people and holds on while the Thing and then beat people up.
I usually don't let people get away.
Yeah. Yeah, you're super
just like
annoying.
You've been trying to get out of this podcast for months.
Haven't got out of this podcast or filming. Super smart, super into technology, a leader, someone that is very practical, but also can think outside of the box.
I'll graciously
can walk
accept.
And chew gum.
I'll accept. Yeah, but this feels a little bit like the sportsmanship award on a high school football team, where you're like that kid that never played, but they're like, but he had a great attitude about it.
The will to win award.
The will. He has a poor record, but that guy's will to win is phenomenal. And you know what? I'll take it. I'll take what I can get, because this is a really difficult thing, is to assess yourself. And, you just happen to nail it. Obviously, you've been thinking about this for years, so you came well prepared to the conversation. But all of you out there, action item for today, tomorrow, or even the week, don't rush this decision. What superhero do you want to be, and which one are you most like? Those two together. All right? We're not putting out a job application.
If someone has a prosthetic limb and it's magnetic, do they automatically become Magneto?
Well, I have a client who's a executive at Bank of America, pretty high up, and I had this conversation with her, and she picked Princess Leia. And I don't know if that counts as a superhero because she doesn't have any superpowers, but the closest one to that would have been Yoda, and she didn't really want to,
Be like,
But she said she's very diplomatic. She's very she fights for what she believes in. She feels like a rebel sometimes in her field.
So is Jar Jar Binks.
So is Jar Jar Binks. I guess we could go with that too. I'm glad I didn't know Star Wars that well, or else I might have said Jar Jar Binks and gotten fired. But we also had a guy identify as Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Said he felt like an alien here. He felt like he was counterculture. He said, I mean, you learn a lot about people, right? He said he felt like a lot of what goes on in society right now, he just doesn't identify with, and he talks to people a lot about the social decisions they're making. So I guess he has a little bit of an activist role, or at least people come to him to find truth. And he has a way. He said he has a way of people tell him things that he doesn't really ask for. So it's kind of like he has the truth serum of Wonder Woman in him. So I don't know if you're out there, you can, if you're a man that identifies as a woman, or a woman that identifies as man. If you're a woman, by the way, just because of the bias of men in superheroville, you are probably better off. You can take any male superhero and
take their qualities,
and do the girl version of it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's check back in with our big four. So if you are just tuning into the show for the first time and this is your first episode, go back to the first 5 or 6 episodes, and we talk about the big four. These are the 4 main qualities of what we feel is an optimal life or a healthy life. And one is your health overall, your relationships, your environment, and your goals. So Todd, let's start with goals. What are your goals right now?
My big goals right now are to get organized, like with my just like stuff at home, just like mail, bills, vacuuming, stuff like that, but like getting it like organized, but also like try and get my business and like life organized, right? So for the past couple months, I've really been struggling with a goal for me personally, for my like I said in another podcast, like physically I have goals. Like I'm in a program, I have physicality goals, but like my business goal I'm still struggling with. So I'm trying to organize my life and other aspects that are taking away from me being able to think about that and get that. So I'm going to try so now that I have my physical goals set and like a program in place, get my like household, like just daily stuff goals down.
Yeah.
So like that's my goal right now, is to get my daily stuff, just like habitual, like come in, do this, do, so I don't have to like think about it.
Yeah.
And then I can spend more of my brain power just thinking about my like future of my family and whatnot.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
How much does that affect your overall life when things are cluttered or unorganized at home? And we've talked about this before in meetings where, as coaches who help set health goals for people, we're very empathetic towards others who have the opposite problem, where it's very difficult for us because we have the mindset, we're cultured into it, we have a lot of training in the health field, so setting training goals isn't really that hard for us. It's almost like common sense. So we know what kind of
I need a goal.
Yeah, I need a goal, pick one and work towards it. We know that the pressure is kind of off there, but it's very difficult for us in other areas. And how many people are listening to this who have great business goals but have no idea how to set
a physical goal,
training goal.
Yeah, like a CEO probably doesn't have any issues creating business plans and like making their multi-million-dollar company even more multi-millions that next year. But like their health and fitness, like what's that, versus us, like the complete opposite.
Yeah,
like you said.
And I think that couples with environment. My goal right now is I'm putting a lot of my eggs into the F1 course and the people going through it, and I want that to be a very intensive program, and it's very difficult I originally created it to create some passive income. You know, like there's so many gurus out there now. It's just like since 2000, man, or 2005, there's so many gurus out there that are just like, you know, I made $100,000 in a month and I only work 2 hours a week. I put on this online
mittens on my daughter's hands so she doesn't scratch her face. I'm the guru of that.
You're getting good at that. You've already had some hours in them, man. And those are some tiny mitts. Sorry, Blaze is in here with us, and we're watching her kick around, and it's kind of cute.
She has finger toes, though.
She has finger toes.
Yeah.
Long toes?
Her 3 main toes are longer than her big toe.
I have really sharp nails, by the way, and that might make me a little Wolverine-ish.
Oh.
I've actually drawn blood.
Maybe you can be the badger.
With my toenail.
You can be a
the
badger.
Yeah. Do I want Rich Reed, or the badger?
Maybe Sabretooth.
Damn it, I'm done with this superhero conversation.
Superheroes. Yeah, but no, definitely environment. So
how much of your environment changed in the last?
Yeah, well, my environment changed, but also like growing up, my environment, right? So my dad is a blue collar worker. You know, worked with his hands. My 2 older brothers, blue collar people. My mom just babysat kids out of the home. There was never really like that white collar, like striving CEO type mentality in my house. Is like, oh, you're just gonna get by with, you know, like your physicality working with your hands. So like I kind of adopted that, you know, just growing up, but also just trying to figure out, like, you know, once like Ash, my wife's father, was very successful, like salesman, stuff like that, traveled and everything. It was just a completely different lifestyle. So like seeing both sides of that now, like I don't think I'm as blue collar as my father. I don't think I'm as white collar as Ashley's father. I'm like kind of somewhere in the middle. So navigating that middle ground has been a little bit tough when there's not anything like any specific person in my life that's like been right there. So like
no blueprint.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, where do I want to be? Like, yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to be a trainer and make $1 billion, but like, in all reality, is that going to happen? No. Could.
Yeah,
there's some out there, but like,
it's generally for the most part not $1 bajillion industry for a trainer.
Yeah,
like some people do it.
I also have taught. I'm a certified earth science teacher and have taught a couple years, and I did not like dressing up in suit and tie and sitting, and you know, I like stood most of the day though, just being active, but like just kind of like I didn't like that lifestyle either. I was an operations manager for a gym. I had to dress up and just sit in front of a computer all day and, you know, just kind of put out fires, and didn't really like, I enjoy what I do now, so I want something, you know, so it's kind of like how I was talking about my business. Trying to find that like goal for my business mind is kind of tough because, like you said, there is no specific blueprint right now. But that's why the F1 course could help me out.
You are Wolverine.
I'm Wolverine.
Such a loner. Well, I think that's a really good action item for people this week. Is if you're listening to the show, I want you to email us at inwardinvesting.com. Your action item is to write down a goal in your business, write down a goal for your health, and I want you to identify one area of your environment that you could improve, and that's your home environment, the people that you're around, even the the types of books that you surround yourself with, the clutter you surround yourself with, all the things that that are surrounding you. What's one thing you can improve in your environment to help those goals? That's your action item this week, along with what superhero are you and which one are you strike that. Which superhero do you want to be and what superhero are you actually most like? This has been the Inward Investing Podcast. I'm Mike Ritter.
I'm Todd Whalen.
And we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.